good afternoon, indeed a very good morning. My name's Ben Mosby. Thank you for joining us on Crafters TV. It is Tuesday. Can't believe it's Tuesday again. Tuesday was my first day last week and the week has absolutely flown by. Started last week with a softer side and starting this week with a softer side of life as well. So if you're into your soft crafts, you have come to the right place for the next couple of hours. We've got so many great goodies for you. And actually what I love about this show is if you are someone like me who's just got your first sewing machine and you're learning all of the basics, things like turning your machine on and keeping it working, then we're going to cover all of that kind of, basic beginner stuff. But then also we have got lots of hints, tips, demonstrations and techniques for those of you who are a lot further down your journey as well. And here's the thing, it's a little bit weird because I'm here in the studio on my own. If you're thinking, hang on a minute, what, this guy's going to show us stuff for 2 hours? No. Thankfully, we have got the wonderful Lizzy Curtis, by the power of technology, from our own craft room. Hello, Lizzy.
Hello, Ben. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's lovely to kind of have you here, but not here. How have you been? You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. So we'll just get rid of the dog. Yeah, I'm very well, Ben. And how are you? Are you okay?
Yeah,
Keep
really.
Bearing up.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And as I was saying, since I last spoke to you, I have sort of started just tinkering with a little sewing machine that Bernie set me off with, doing a few bits and pieces. It's quite addictive, this soft craft lark, isn't it?
Yes, it actually is very addictive because, you know what, all the time, anything that we make, it doesn't matter whether it's the smallest of purses or the biggest of quilts and everything in between, whatever we're making is actually an heirloom.
Yeah.
And like I said to a group of ladies the other day, you walk into any museum in the country, it doesn't matter what sort of museum, you're going to see textiles in some way, shape or form. And of course, every time we make something, that's what we're doing. We're creating something from textiles, regardless of what it is, and it will last hundreds of years. Now, that kind of feels like a responsibility when I say it like that. But what it really means is whatever you make is going to be incredibly useful. And if you're making it with love and you give it to that person, whoever you're going to give it to, even if it could be yourself, it's going to last you a lifetime and it's going to have lots and lots of memories attached to it. It's a really important art form, is crafting with our fabrics.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And, like you said, things that you're making now, which potentially, will stay in the family for many, many years. I'm not quite sure if some of the things that I'm attempting to make will stay in the family that long, but we shall see. There's lots coming up on the show, and we're going to pop back to Lizzy in just a few moments' time. She's going to be going through a whole host of demos as well. So as per usual, if you have any questions, you can get those in. But before we get on to that, let's show you what we've got coming up on the show. The fantastic Gemini rotating quilting pattern guide. This is a 4-piece bundle and it is absolutely brilliant. Again, just a real sort of helping hand if you're wanting to get into quilting and making designs very easily with your sewing machine. I think no matter whether you've got a low shank or a high shank foot, these are absolutely perfect. So the designs you've got here are mandala, you've got your petal, you've also got kaleidoscope, and you've got your medallion as well. These are super, super easy to use and super handy to have in your stash. Great price on these today as well. You're going to get all 4 of them for £50 or $69, less your 20% if you're a platinum member, 40 or 55.20, so big savings to be had on those. Now also coming up a little bit later on, again, all really handy stuff to have in your crafty armory, the shape cutter collection. We have got, well, these are brilliant. We've got the diamond shape cutter. I'll give you a quick sneaky peek of these, allowing you to cut all of these different shapes. We've got a 45-degree and 60-degree diamond. We've got your hexagon shape cutter in there as well. There's your 60-degree diamond. Also, the ability for you to cut your tumblers. And also later on as well, your circle shape cutter too. Get on the web and check all of these out. As I say, we will be featuring these in more detail a little bit later on the show. And also coming up later on, did you know Christmas is fast approaching? Oh, I know. It will be here before you know it. And we've got some really, really cute Christmas goodies for you as well. Take a look at these. We've got your joyful heart. Look at the little robin. Super cute, right? And then we've got the sweet snowflake as well. 25 elements for £25 or $33. As I said, these are all things we're going to feature and have a look at in more detail as we head throughout the show. But if you want to get them now, get them in your basket and get them checked out, then now is a good time to get involved. Now is also a good time to get your questions in before we fire off with our first crossover to Lizzy. Anything that you want to ask, anything that you want to know, if you're a complete beginner and you've got the simplest of simple questions, you can get that question into us, or if you're a little bit more advanced and there's something that's bugging you that you need to know, get in touch on Facebook or on YouTube and we'll get those questions to Lizzy. Or we love to see your photos. So if you're currently making a project, maybe you've made some amazing projects recently and you want to show us, then we would love to see those as well. You can email us studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk. We are going to start off with this amazing bundle here, which we're going to ask Lizzy about, which is the Threaders Quilting Starter Kit. So if you are somebody who is maybe getting into this, maybe you're thinking of taking up a brand new craft, this is absolutely perfect. $27.99 or $35.96 is the deal. This is a 20% saving, and again 20% further off this if you are a platinum member. $22.39 or $28.77. I can see that Lizzy has got her starter kit in front of her in her studio in Suffolk there. So Lizzy, take us through everything that we're going to get here and why this is why this is a starter kit, why we actually need this.
Well, I know we're calling it a starter kit, but actually this is the sort of kit that you need one or two of. And you've only got to look around my craft room, and certainly some of the craft rooms of my friends and colleagues, is that you don't just have the one set, you have one or two of these because they're so useful. The first thing I'll talk about is the ruler. So the ruler is a 12 by 6. That is possibly, and it's a great shot because you can't see it. But anyway, it's a 12 by 6. And it's great because you've got yellow lines and black lines. So this is fantastic on light fabrics and dark fabrics because you've got the yellow and it kind of lights it up. It's also inches, which, you know, patchworkers and actually stitchers in general of an older generation tend to use inches, and a lot of patterns are still written in inches, even though, you know, we try to go metric. I fail at all hurdles with that. You've got a hangy bit here, so you've got a hole there, so you can actually hang it up in your room if you want to. But 6 for 12 is a great size. This is the size I probably use 95% of the time because it's handy, it's small, it doesn't take up any room, it can sit beside your desk, and if I get it the right way around, it can sit beside your desk and it's unobtrusive. Okay, so that's the perfect size. You can square up your blocks with it. You know, I'll show you in a sec how we're going to use it just for simple cutting, but then you can make something absolutely exquisite. If we go to the mat, now the mat is really interesting because if I hold it up, I don't know if you'll see it, it might be better if you see it I'll keep it down here because you can see it better here, look. Because you've got all the diagonal cutting lines you might need. So a 45 degree, great for cutting bias, that sort of thing. 60 degrees for cutting triangles, that sort of thing. So you've got all the measurements there. And quite honestly, and you'll probably think you won't use them, but you will use them. These are all done in inches, so we go from 1 to 17, so it's a great size, and then from 1 to 11, so again a great size. I use mine a lot this way because if I'm cutting any fabric, my 6 by 12 ruler sits absolutely perfectly on that. Mm-hmm. And it means that I've got all of this length here, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. Now the other side of this is actually metric, so and it's got our logo on it. So where I talked before about, you know, we're mainly inch guys, actually if you're a centimetre guy, then you've got that on the other side as well. Now, like I say, I don't use centimetres, but this side isn't wasted. Because if you're going to be doing a lot of cutting and you're using rulers rather than the grid on the mat, then use this side, because then you're sort of wearing one side out and you're keeping the inches as best, if you like. And also you could do your sort of inky crafting perhaps on the other side. So that's those two elements, which are absolutely your essentials. I'm sorry if I'm catching the light, I'll move it. The other thing is the 45 mil cutter. Now, this is when you first get it, it's absolutely, well, they are all razor sharp. So always keep it locked. You've got a pressy button here and a pull backy bit, and that releases the blade. I don't do technical, Ben.
No, I like that. It's about as technical as I get. The pushy bit and the pull backy bit. I quite like that. It works with me.
Yeah. That's as far as I can go with it. So it's got a pushy down bit and a pulley back bit, and that will release the blade for you. So it's always nice and safe. And you'll notice I don't put my fingers anywhere near it. It's got a lovely silicone grip, so it's nice and soft in the hand. But a 45 mil blade is the most popular blade that you'll ever use with your cutting. They go through the shape cutters beautifully. I'd go down a size for the circle. I go 28 mil for the circle, but all the rest you'll see later me using the 45 degree. When the blade gets a little bit blunt, you've got all the screws here to undo it and change the blade. And my top tip is when you take that blade out, use a magnet, but then get a I'm gonna say the brand, a Sharpie pen. You want something that doesn't rub off, and mark it with a P and use it for your paper crafting or for cutting paper or card any other time you might need it. And that way that blade is always going to be used. It doesn't finish its life when it becomes blunt after many, many miles of cutting. You can then mark a P on it and then you can use it for your paper craft. So I think that's quite a good little tip to remember. So let's just say we want to cut something, okay?
Yeah.
Now normally we'll get a fat quarter and they're generally cut okay, but I think you'd always have to square up the edge. And all that means is trimming off a little slither on the side of a fat quarter. Let me see, I've got a fat quarter here, and what I'll do is, it's actually, let's have a look. It's one of the Enchanted forest pieces.
Okay.
I'll use that other piece that I had in a moment. But you'll get it, and every single fat quarter has a selvage. It always has a selvage. So you know when you're using dies, you know, especially our builder block. Oh, we've got the expansion packs today, haven't we? How exciting. So when you're using the expansion pack dies, keep that selvage on for as long as possible, because you know where the grain of fabric's going. Yeah. You know it's always going to go across it. That's the grain of fabric, and it's always important when you're using those dies to know that. But when you first get a fat quarter and you open it up, you'll find that this end here is never as accurate. Well, certainly for me, it's never as accurate as you'd want it to be. So you always want to square it up. So you bring in your ruler. Now, if this flashes, I'm really sorry.
I don't worry too much.
But
it's fine.
It's not too bad. If I do that, you just won't see it. It's the trouble, we've got to have the lights.
Exactly.
So you can place the ruler on top of your fabric and just square that off. I'm just going to stand up to do that. And literally you're cutting a slither off, okay? So all I've done is cut them the slightest amount. Now, of course, if you want to use that in your embroidery, your free motion embroidery or stuffing toys, use it. But I'm sorry, it's going to go in the bin. So that's how you would square off a fat quarter to get a nice edge. But the other thing we can do is to cut some strips that we can actually use in our stitching. So again, I'm going to cut this. Again, I'm sorry for the flash. But I'm going to square off my piece of fabric like so. Okay, now I want a 2-inch strip from this because I'm going to show you a quick demo using the fabrics, using the cutter here, the rotary cutter, so you can see what you can do at home. Yeah. So I'm going to cut a 2-inch strip, and again, sorry about the lights, the yellow light, sorry, yellow light, I'm getting light happy now.
Lights and lines.
The yellow line going down the ruler would mark our 1-inch pieces. So you've got a yellow line for 1, yellow line for 2, etc., etc. And so I'm going to put the edge of my newly cut piece of fabric there underneath the 2-inch line there, and then cut. Now, a little top tip, I'm not going to put this down yet in case we get that flash, but when you hold your ruler, hold it with all of your hand, hold it really firmly with all of your hand. Keep your fingers away about 1 inch. So the thing is that the blade is going to run along this piece of acrylic here. It's not going to come over the top. It's not going to cut your fingers. You've got to be respectful. You've got to know your limitations. Yeah. but just keep your fingers away from that edge. You know, you're not going to come up here, for instance. You'd be crazy. So keep your hands well back and then use the cut. So I'm going to do that, and I'm sorry for the flash. But there we are. That has now cut a beautiful 2-inch strip. I mean, it's absolute perfection. And of course, you will get the sharpest blade in the world when you first get this, and that's exactly what you need. If you start getting pipping, or if you have to cut twice, change that blade. Okay, it's a consumable. You've got to change it at some point. It's a bit like the needle in your machine, guys.
Yes.
You've got to keep changing it. So, are you okay with that, Ben? Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're just watching away there. I can look. There I am in the little box. It's just nice to see how it all works. And like you said, it is obviously kind of, if you are starting off brand new, this is something that you need to have. But then, like you said, actually, you need lots of these within your sewing room, don't you? Really, because the kind of thing that you're going to use time and time again. And interestingly, with the rotary cutter, we do have the spare blades available on the show as well. How quickly are you going to go through one of those then? I suppose it's, how long's a piece of string really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you would definitely cut a whole quilt. So if you didn't have Builder Block or the expansion packs, you would definitely cut a whole quilt with a rotary cutter. I've never put any mileage on it, Ben.
Yeah.
But you'll know because you're either going to have to cut twice, or when you do cut, you get a pip. If you accidentally go over a pin, big no-no.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you've messed up your blade.
Okay.
So just bite the bullet, take it out, put a new one in. And it happens to me. So, you know, things get put on your mat and it gets hidden by the fabric, and you think, oh my goodness me, I've just gone over a pin. And basically you put a chip in there. And even with the best will in the world, every time you cut, that little tiny nick, it won't cut the fabric. So you'll have to keep going over it again, or get your scissors out and clipping it. And you'll see people doing that, demonstrating. They haven't quite cut all the way through and they have to snip. And that's because they need a new blade.
Well, it's good to know, all top tips. And yes, if you are going to go for this collection, you might want to add those spare blades in as well, because we do have those available, as I said, on the show as well. A few quick hellos, lots of people already watching. Gilmore from a snow-dusted Michigan, that sounds nice. Rebecca's watching from Austin, Texas. Diana from Indiana. And Sushi Aber in cloudy Solihull. Yeah, it's a cloudy old day today here up north. But listen, to cheer you up, we've got some gorgeous fabric on the show as well. The Enchanted Forest. Now, this I think launched, this was one of the very first shows that I did here at Crafters TV. The Enchanted Forest. I want to say that this launched sort of around September time. And we've got a variety of different bundles for you, okay? So you can go for these individually should you wish. But first up, we have the Fat Quarter bundle for you, $11.99 or $14.95. So you get a fat quarter of each of the different designs that you're going to get within this collection. So without unfolding these too much, because I always get told off, you've got the Forest Floral. That's going to be, oh no, that's the Enchanted Forest, isn't it? That's the Enchanted Forest. So you get a fat quarter of that. Then you're also going to get your Forest Florals as well. Absolutely gorgeous. I love that sort of cream background with the gorgeous flowers standing out. You've then got your Mini Blossom as well. So a fat quarter of that is included too. And then you've also got the Ditzy Dashes as well. So those are the all of the different designs that you get within your fat quarter bundle. $11.99 or $14.95. As I said, the great thing is, you've got the ability to get these in a variety of different sizes. So then you've got your 20 piece, 2.5 inch fabric roll here again. So this incorporates all of the different designs that we saw just there. So 20 piece fabric strip roll. If that works better for you, then you can go that way. $19.99 or $22.95, less your 20%. It's absolutely gorgeous. We've seen a lot of this being used on, I'll show you in a minute actually. We've got some of the bags from the bag dies that we've had over the past few weeks been made out of these. So gorgeous. But if you want to go bigger, we've got the 4-piece half-meter bundle as well. Again, all 4 of the designs on there, but you've got your half-meter bundles instead there. So $23.99 or $27.95. sold by half metre as well. Just to show you, let me just get these in, because these are a nice little example of some of the things you can put together. Just to show like how perfectly they do work. Love, love, love this little bag that we had the dice for last weekend. So it just kind of shows you, if you just want to go for the Enchanted Forest by the half metre, you can do £5.99 or £7.49. And if you're buying by the half metre as well, as you'll see at the bottom of your screen there, that is on a 342. So you might want to go that way as well if you are stocking up. So that's the Enchanted Forest. We've also got the Forest Floral available as well. Again, just giving you a bit of an idea how this might look in your different creations. I'd like to say that these are some of the things that I made earlier, but it wasn't me. Definitely not me. £5.99 or £7.49 if you want to go for the Forest Florals. 3 for 2 once again on those if you want to go for that. The Mini Blossom is also available for you again. £5.99 or £7.49 on a 3 for 2. And then we've got the Ditzy Dashes as well, which don't forget is this one here. Again, £5.99 or $7.49, I should say, on a 3 for 2 as well. Now, those eagle eye viewers who are having a little, it's nice, isn't it, to have a look at other people's craft rooms and see what they're doing. If you're having a little nose round Lizzie's there, you might have seen next to her these. And if you're thinking, hang on a minute, what's she got a pair of gloves next to her? Well, these are the Gemini Quilting gloves, and we'll be chatting more about these in just a few moments' time. $6.99 or $9.95. Just a good way for you to kind of manoeuvre your fabric with a bit more ease, a bit more precision, let's just say as well. But we'll let Lizzie chat more about these in just a few moments' time. So $6.99. We'll ask about those, and we'll also ask about the two little feet that I've got here as well. Not my feet. The 2 feet, we've got a low shank and a high shank foot. What's the difference? Which one do we need? Has your machine got a low shank foot or a high shank foot? Well, if you don't know and you're not quite sure, or if you're wondering what's the difference, we will ask Lizzie in just a few moments' time. But we've got your low shank foot there. That's $19.99 or $24.95. And then we've also got the high shank as well. Again, $19.99 or $24.95. If you're not sure what your machine has or which one you should be going for, we'll put all of those questions to Lizzie in just a few moments' time. We're also going to be having a look at something that we touched on at the start of the show, the Quilting Pattern Guide bundle. And these are absolutely brilliant. We'll have a look at these with Lizzie in her craft room in just a few moments' time. But you're going to get the 4 templates here. So you're going to get the mandala. You'll also get your petal, your kaleidoscope, and your medallion as well, allowing you to create some beautiful, beautiful projects. Saving on that today, $21.96 or $30.80. Biggest saving if you're a platinum member, of course, as well, because you get that extra 20% off. So it's £40 or $55.20 if you're going for those today. Right, so much to ask. So let's first of all start with the gloves. These are obviously quilting gloves, but why do we need these, Lizzie? And why are they so essential, really, I suppose?
So you'll never see me without these. I mean, mine are slightly different to yours, Ben. I'll just point that out.
Yeah.
But you'll never see me without these if I'm doing any form of quilting or any form of free motion embroidery, because they grip your fabric. They have like little silicone tips, both sides. It doesn't matter which. There's not necessarily a right side, left side. They're ambidextrous, if you like.
Yeah.
And they have that gripability. Now, I was explaining this earlier to somebody that my hands today are tacky, let's say. They're not sweaty,
Right,
they're
okay.
tacky, right? Now that would probably grip my fabric okay, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But generally, like anybody else, our hands are actually quite dry. Now, when your hands are dry, your hands will slip on the fabric, okay? So whatever fabric you've got under the needle, it will slip because they're dry. They need some sort of tack to hold onto the fabric, to stabilize that fabric, to be able to maneuver that fabric around.
Yeah.
You know, there's other things we can do to assist that. I'll often say, get your best furniture polish out and spray the bed of your machine and get it super shiny and slippery.
Yeah.
That helps. That's the top tip again.
Yeah.
But the gloves are amazing because, like I say, you will never, ever, ever see me do free motion embroidery or quilting without these gloves on. Like I say, mine are slightly different. There's a story behind that. I'm not going to bore you with it, but they're exactly the same. as the ones that you've got, okay?
Yeah.
They've got silicone bits, and that will help you move your fabric around. Now, the great thing about the quilting pattern guides, which I think we should go on to, I just need to change my foot,
Yeah.
is that they have a non-slip coating on them, Ben. I don't know if you can see that through the packaging of yours, but certainly they have this non-slip coating, which is great. It means that we don't have to use anything else to stabilize those guides onto our fabric. So in some instances, you might have to stick a piece of hook and loop on there so they grab, or a sticky belt, silicone dots you can buy, and you can stick those onto the back of your quilting guides, your rulers. But with these, you don't have to, because they've got that non-slip technology on both sides. So it doesn't matter which side you use. It's there all the time, which is really incredibly, incredibly useful. So I was going to show you how to put this together, but I'm not going to now. I'm going to go straight on to do my quilting pattern guides. And I do need to change your foot, which will take all of 5 seconds, okay?
Well,
but
whilst we're having a look at that, just talking about feet, low shank, high shank. Right.
So generally speaking, I'm going to put my neck on the line and say that 95% of domestic machines have a low shank foot. Okay. So if you're not sure, order a low shank foot, and I can almost guarantee. I'm using a different machine, so mine's different to yours. I can almost guarantee that your low shank would be the perfect one for you. Okay. Yeah. Now, because I use an industrial machine, it comes with a specialist foot, but they are identical to the ones that you will have. Are absolutely identical. You need a ruler foot if you're going to use a quilting pattern guide, because those are the ones that's going to run through. Let me just show you. They're going to run through the grooves perfectly well. I'll get a piece of dark fabric so you can see what I'm showing you here. So if I was to slip that under, that's a much better view. And if I show you the actual quilting guide, even better. Now, this little foot here, like I say, 95% of domestic machines will need a low shank. Okay? Do not ever be worried about that. You can look in your instruction booklet, you can ring your manufacturers, your suppliers, and you can ask them for advice. But I would say, if you are on the side of caution, go for a low shank. Specialist machines tend to have high shank. Husqvarna's can be high shank. The Brother V7 is a high shank. So I would say it's the specialist machines that would probably be a high shank. Okay. And there's even some with a medium shank, but they're so rare.
Wow.
You know,
but basically, whichever your machine has, a low shank or a high shank, there's no kind of difference between the two, really. Just whatever your machine has.
It's the shank is the piece of metal that comes down from the inside of your machine, which has the screw hole in that your feet all attach to. That's the shank. Now, when you put the foot down, and you put your presser foot down on your machine, the low shank is determined by about 1/2 inch. Yeah. So if I was to take my foot off and measure it, it would probably be 1/2 inch or a thickness of a finger, and you'd get the screw hole sitting around about there. And in fact, if I do that, you can see that my screw hole is practically there.
Got you.
So if it was a high shank, it would be more than that. Yeah. So if you put your finger there and the hole is a lot higher than that, then it's a high shank. So they call it the rule of thumb, which just means the measurement of the thickness of your thumb, generally speaking, is where the screw hole is, and that's where you're measuring from. So 1/2 inch and below really is a low shank. 1/2 inch and above is a high shank. So put your presser foot down and measure it with everything off. So take all the feet off, unscrew everything, so you've just got that shank with the screw hole, and you'll be able to measure it fine. It's no bother.
There you go. So handy, really. And if you're still not quite sure, like Lizzie says, you can consult with your manufacturer, or what we said about 95% of the machines low shank, so you can give it a try there. But as we've said, you can measure it that way, and that is the way to do it. Right. Let's have a look then at these rotating quilt patterns, because these are brilliant. And you've got, which one have you got? Have you got the mandala?
I've got the mandala here, which is just absolutely exquisite. I mean, they all are. I absolutely love quilting pattern guides.
Yeah.
Rulers in another world, because they are double named. We call them a quilting pattern guide. That's our sort of logo, if you like. But they do exactly the same job as a ruler, and I don't mean a ruler 6 for 12.
No.
I mean a quilting ruler. Okay. These have got a fabulous non-slip back and front to them, so it doesn't matter whether you turn it this way or that way, it's going to work the same, which means it's got that grip ability. And they've also got grid lines. I don't know if you can see, but we've got black grid lines. Thank you. We've got black grid lines here. Can you see? Which means that when you put it onto your project, whatever your project is, if you've drawn yourself some guidelines, then you'll be able to centralize it with the little dot here, but also you can keep it all central. So if I bring in that dark piece of fabric again, which works really well, I've got some chalk lines on here, which you can probably just pick up. If I was to put that central dot there, that quilt line, that chalk line that I've done sort of follows all the way through, and I can line up every single one of those to whichever line that I've drawn. So straight away, I've got accuracy. Straight away, I've got that wonderful technology helping me, because that's what it's all about. And that ruler foot, don't ever use an embroidery foot. I know some people might be tempted, but please don't. You'll break your machine. The ruler foot sits absolutely perfectly into these grooves, and you're just kissing the edge with your ruler foot and the guide all the way around. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to show you.
Okay.
But that guide, you just hug it all the way around. And the other thing about these, Ben, and I don't know if you know this, but these are double, so you can actually use this piece for making a pattern as well. And if I show you one of these samples, I've got a gazillion samples here.
Yeah.
But if I show you one, I'll hold it to this camera. You can see that the pattern that's been made here is actually been done with the center section. Now, to be honest, I don't know which one. I'll be honest with you there. But this little bit here, okay, can make that size design there.
So you've almost got like the positive and the negative then, isn't it, really, that you've got? Yeah, that's really clever. I would have never have thought that you could use the innie bit, if you like, then, of the pattern. That's really clever.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can see that, probably best at the side here, but you can see that the bigger one makes the bigger design. So if you've made, I don't know, an 8.5-inch block, use the inside pattern. If you've made a 12.5-inch block, then use the outside pattern. But they're all absolutely exquisite. And I'm going to stop talking, and I'm actually going to show you how they work. The other thing I was going to quickly show you, but I'll use my dark green fabric so you can see it better. With that fabric, with that 2-inch strip that I showed you before, you could actually make a very simple log cabin effect, and that's what you could create with that gorgeous Enchanted forest fabric. So we cut some 2-inch strips, just the very top of the show, and you could actually just make this beautiful log cabin effect, and then you can quilt it. And in actual fact, if we've got 2 seconds, I've got my pattern guide here, my reference guide, and I've got the heat erasable pen. Fortunately, this ruler doesn't flash as much, and I can put my little dot there, and hopefully I'll be able to see that, but I can draw out my grid. I'm not at all worried about the lines I'm drawing. Hopefully this isn't a biro, it's actually a threader's heat erasable. Don't, because I've done that before.
I noticed you didn't look when you picked it up though, Lizzie. You didn't look, so it could be disastrous.
I always have it in a certain place, Ben. I've learned that lesson. So as long as I've got my circle, and obviously with a pattern fabric, you might want to perhaps put a chalk mark there, but I think I can eyeball that, so I know that's my centre. I'm fine with that. Yeah. And we'll do this because oftentimes we'll do a demonstration using plain fabric, which is great because you can see it very clearly. But it's not very often we actually use pattern fabric, because that's what your block's going to be like. It's going to be pattern fabric. So we'll use the mandala. We'll use the block that I made using the Enchanted forest, because that looks just exquisite. Now my little mat, my what is it, 17 by 11, I never remember the details like that. My little mat can sit to one side, because I'll show you how useful that's going to be. Now, the other thing is, if you have got an extension table, this is a great time to get it out. I've got a massive one. Wouldn't I?
Oh, blimey.
Well, it's an industrial machine. So
I was going to say, yeah, that's probably the biggest extension table I think I've ever seen for a sewing machine. There's some big projects right there, Lizzie.
But you know, even if you've got our Gemini Pro, a Stitch Pro, and our Gemini Stitch,
yeah,
they've all got big enough tables, and that's what you need. If you've got a machine that just has like just the bed around the machine, sometimes that's not big enough. And if it's not big enough, I want you to pack a load of books around here, okay? All the way around, a load of books that come up to the same height as the bed of your machine. And that will give you, look, that piece of fabric now is sitting very comfortably, nice and flat on my bed here. And that's what you want to achieve. That's the look you want, because it's supporting everything. So I'm just going to move that over slightly because it's catching the light a little bit. So these guys, let's get to it. So I'm going to put the dot right in the centre of my guide there. Okay, try and keep my hands out of the way. And I'm going to line up the grid, you know, the black lines, with the lines that I've drawn on the fabric. Now you can just about see that. Look, there's the line, there's the grid line. We're all lined up. And then all you're going to do, it doesn't matter whether you start the right or the left, whatever's comfortable, and you will find over a period of time what is best for you. Make sure your foot is down. I'm sorry about the light. I ought to do something about that, really. Let's put a bit of fabric there. Hold on, bear with. That's it. It's because we got these terrible lights in here. Make sure that your feed dogs are down. If you cannot lower your feed dogs, then please put your stitch length on 0 and it'll do the same job.
Okay.
So just start off with a couple of stitches. Let's just put that right where it's supposed to be. A couple of stitches just to catch your thread. Get your threads out of the way. You have to cut them in a minute. And then you can see I've got my Michael Jackson gloves on, and they are absolutely perfect for the job because everything is going to stay still. I'm sorry.
I think they're more like mime gloves, Lizzie. It looks like after you've done your project, you're going to break into a little bit of... I think they look like mime gloves, like you're going to break into a bit of mime in a minute.
Oh, maybe. Yes, the French mime artist. What was his name? Michel something or other, wasn't it? I can't remember.
I'll put mine on.
So I'm going to try and do this so you can see, but obviously my hand's going to be away a little bit in the way. So I'm literally following around the shape of the quilting pattern guide, and just hug it in. You're kissing it. That's what you're doing. Don't worry about your stitch length. Don't worry about how fast you're going, how slow you're going. Keep up a fairly decent speed, otherwise you'll break a needle because you'll be pulling on that. But just follow all the way through, and I think my thread has just come undone. And now you're just hugging that line, and then when you've done one row, all you're going to do is shift your template, your guide, and you're going to make sure that dot goes on that. I'm going to try and just move it again. You're going to get that dot right in the centre again. So let's just do that. There we go, I've got it in the centre again now. And you're going to line up the guide again. So you can see that my guideline here is lined up with the line on my fabric, okay? So you can see how that works. Yeah. So again, it's just following the actual, the template again. So if I I don't know which way to hold it. I think I'm going to have to change my thread in a minute. All right. Well, if you need some time, I've got plenty of stuff that we can remind all of the viewers of. Okay. My machines can be really temperamental when it comes to threads, and it's not liking this particular thread, so I might have to change. All right. But I'm just following all the way around, and you're just kissing the edge of the shape, that's all. Okay. So that's 2 done. I'm going to change my thread. Okay, well, let's give you the opportunity to do that. I've just got the gloves on, actually, as you just saw my little mine in the box there. Really handy to have, actually. And like Lizzie was saying, like the tips of the gloves have got like that sort of coating, that grip on it, if you like, to make things easier for you. So if you need to go for those, these are on the show. But I quite like them, actually. We've also got, well, there's the details of the Quilting Pattern Guide bundle, of which you do get the mandala. But we've also got some beautiful fabric on the show for you as well. I haven't seen this before. I don't know if you have, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So
I won't unfold this too much because as those of you know, whenever I'm on the show, especially when it's Erin producing, she gets very uptight when I unfold it because she says I don't fold it back properly. So I'll do that. Okay. So this is the pretty posies. The pretty posies. $4.79 again. Look at the price. Really, really low price on this. That is per half meter. So if you want to go for that, $4.79 or $4.79. Remember, your 20% discount on that as well, if you're a platinum member, takes it down under £4 or $4. Next up, that's folded perfectly. I really like this. The spring blooms. Come on, Ben, do it properly. Your spring blooms, let's hold it up the right way so you can see all these beautiful flowers. Again, £4.79 or $4.79, a 20% saving. Again, by the half meter if you want to go for that. Next up, let's get these off a second. The spring tulips. And again, with these, take a look at the gorgeous, gorgeous patterns that you've got here. It's absolutely stunning. Maybe you are somebody who's already thinking ahead to springtime next year and you're looking at your projects then as well, maybe Easter time as well. This really does lend itself to that. $4.79 or $4.79. Great deals to be had on this. This is my absolute fave, right? If you are kind of all tired with Christmas colours and you are wanting something which is a little bit more kind of sunshine and zingy, you've got it here with your sunshine tulips. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. The beautiful rows of tulips there. Again, $4.79 per half metre, whether you're shopping with us here in the UK or in the US. And next, you've got your vintage flowers as well. Great thing is with these, and I'll show you in a minute, I'll get the old the waiter's arm out in a second. They all work beautifully together. So if you decide that you want to go for a half metre of one, half metre of the other, look, they all work absolutely beautifully together. Here we go. Look at this. Gorgeous. There you go. Take a look at that. I'll lay those all out for you. Hang on. They are still in the same order, just the other way round. So there you go. If you fancy going for a little bit of each, you've got the ability to do it. Look how beautifully they all work as well. So $4.79 or $4.79 per half metre. Now, whilst that is fairly new to me, something which I have seen fly out of the door here on many occasions is the Enchanted Forest collection. Now, you've got 4 different designs again here. So you've got the Enchanted Forest, absolutely gorgeous. And what I love about this is you've got so much going on there. All of the animals of the forest, you've got beautiful florals in there as well, all of the foliage too, lovely colours, the greens, the blues, the reds and the yellows. $5.99 or $7.49. And if you're going for these half metre bundles, like the forest florals as well, it is on a 3 for 2. Yay to that. Love this as well because this is still quite busy, isn't it? But I love the fact that you've got that cream background and then the beautiful florals kind of like coming through on there as well. They are absolutely gorgeous. Think that is me fave, the forest florals. Beautiful if you are into your bag making, as we saw earlier on with some of the kits that we've got here. We've got that kit that allows you to make the bag and the little cushion cover and the flask cover as well. That's stunning. This, again, really, really lovely. The mini blossom works as a gorgeous sort of foil to the other fabrics that you've got within this collection if you want to mix and match. $5.99 or $7.49 on a 3 for 2. And proving the most popular today, the Ditzy Dashes. 10% of a big stock this time has gone. Again, if you want to go for this, it is on that 3 for 2. If you want to mix and match it, you've got the ability to do that as well. Take advantage of that deal. That's a stunning deal, isn't it, when you think of it? 3 for 2 on that gorgeous fabric. However, if you like them all and you want to go for fat quarters, we do have the fat quarter bundle right here, $11.99 or $14.95 for the set. We've also got it available for you in your strips as well. So this is a 20-piece strip. And again, you've got all of the different designs in there, 2.5-inch fabric strips on there, as you can see, in all 4 of the different designs available. However, if you want more, we've got the half metre bundle as well. Again, all four of the different designs on there, $23.99 or $27.95 if you want to go for the 4-piece half-metre bundle. It's proving very popular right across the board. Get the questions in as well. Must just say a few hellos because we've got loads of people watching. Lisa says hello from Hawaii. Carolyn is loving the show. And Kathleen, hi, all looking forward to learning some hints and tips today. And Evelyn, good morning from beautiful Colorado. I've been sitting here mesmerised and forgot to say hello. It's a little bit like that, isn't it? Lots of hints and tips. And as I say, the brilliant thing is, if you have got any questions, we can, of course, still fire those over to Lizzy. So anything that you want to know or anything that you want to see. Marianne saying, the books are an excellent tip, Ben. Thank you for sharing, Lizzy. Yeah, love that idea. So if you haven't got one of those massive extension tables, the books, brilliant, brilliant idea. Okay, let us go back to Lizzy in her craft room, live from Suffolk. I love it says that on the screen, live from Suffolk. It's Lizzy. How are you getting on in there?
I'm here, live from Suffolk.
Oh, mine, sorry, I didn't know it's mine either. Live from CCHQ. It's very posh, isn't it? Anyway, how are you getting on? All good?
Yes, I've changed my thread now.
Good.
Some machines don't like certain threads and I haven't got the time or the energy to change my tensions and everything. So I've changed my fabric, I've changed my thread. So I just wanted to complete one or two more little bits of this. So just as I said before, you'll see that my shoulders are nicely relaxed. I mean, I have no stress about me whatsoever. I love, love, love doing this type of quilting. It's really rewarding. And these pattern guides are such terrific value for money. So as I lift this and turn this, you'll be able to see we're making a kind of, we're doing this in thirds. That's the best way to describe it. And you kind of have to go around and you find the center of this again, and then you're going to create another sort of leaf pattern. And it just goes on and on. Let me just do that. It just goes on and on. And you keep turning it and turning it. So if I just do that again, let me just get that so it's on the dot. There we go. And just lining up the grid, and you're just following that around. There's no pressure. You know, you can think about what threads you're using, you're moving the fabric, so that's down to you on your stitch length. But even if you do tiny little stitches, it doesn't matter. You're doing some beautiful quilting. And if I was demonstrating on the pattern fabric, you would see, I've unthreaded itself now. It's not going to play ball today, but let me show you something I did earlier. Now, I'll show you this. This is something I did earlier today. Oh, wow. This is exactly the same pattern guide, and this is what it looks like when it's all completed. Yeah. And just for fun, I started colouring in. Now, if you've got some fabric pens, you can see my little squiggle on part of the shape there. You could actually paint in your shape. And then create a piece of work that's absolutely inspiring. And if I bring another piece in, this is nothing to do with pattern guides as such, but this is the sort of thing that you could create if I show that to the camera. And that is quilting, okay? This is all quilting, but then I've coloured it in with fabric paints. So you can see on the back it's all quilted. So what I'm showing you here is the mandala quilting guide, all finished, all beautiful. And then if you're not using pattern fabric, you could colour it in yourself and actually create your own fabric. So these aren't just these are just not pattern guides as such. These are the most wonderful designs. Shall I keep it there for you? So these, I'm just going to show you some of the designs that these pattern guides do, okay? I'm just going to rush through them so you can see them. And it's all very, very easy. Honestly, you'll have an absolute ball with it. Put your white gloves on. Make yourself feel like you're part of the gang. Yeah, Start quilting. Practice on some plain fabric. And these are all the little ones. These are all the central ones that I showed you before. So, you know, there's huge amounts of possibilities here. And they are such a good price today. I can't tell you. Recently, I bought 5 from a particular manufacturer for one of my machines, and they were over £100. In fact, they were close to £200 because that's what they think they can charge. And of course, and it's not right. It's not right because.
Sorry, I was going to say you can go as intricate as you want to, or you can, like here, you can go as big and as simple as you want to as well, can't you?
Yes, and all of this, when you look at the log cabin that we did a little
Yeah.
while ago that I showed you, and I said to you I was having problems with my thread, but already it started to stitch. I'd used a variegated thread, and some of this stitching will be lost in the pattern, but some of it you'll see that beautiful design coming through. And this is the sort of thing that you can create. This is down to you. You'll be the creator, you'll be the designer, you'll be able to create beautiful things. Use a metallic thread, use a variegated thread.
Look at that.
Just have a practice. You could make 12.5-inch blocks with plain fabrics and just this pattern, for instance. And then you've got the 4 guides, and in actual fact you've got 8 different ways of using them and 8 different patterns that you'll create. And I've only got a few more, so don't worry.
No, it's really interesting to see them all. Honestly, it's great showing you.
Isn't it beautiful? And our Trisha did these for us, and she's a very clever lady, but she doesn't do it professionally. She doesn't do quilting like this professionally. And that is the one that I was just using, the mandala, and that's what it turns out like. And that's the sort of thing that you can create. And again, there's the final one there. Wow. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning. So when you start to see these on your pattern, I'm not filing. When you see these on your pattern fabrics, everything kind of disappears. So if you're at all worried about your stitch length, whether you've gone a bit wriggly, please don't be, because they all disappear into your fabric design and your beautiful, you might be using something really exotic. That'll all get lost. But what you're doing is you're quilting through your 3 layers, your top, your wadding, your backing, securing all those layers together and creating something really stunning, really beautiful, really artistic. So there, the world's your oyster. Don't forget your white gloves.
Absolutely, you need to. That is one thing you need to definitely get from today's show, at least, is the white gloves. Yes, join the club, join that club. But the point is, again, isn't it, the fact that if you are, a bit further along your journey, these are going to be great, time saving, all about accuracy. But if you are brand new as well, I just think these are brilliant. And like Lizzie was pointing out, to get the whole bundle today for £50 or $69, remember you will get your mandala, which we saw being used in that demo there. You're also going to get the petal, you're going to get your medallion and the kaleidoscope as well. And the fact that obviously you can use the outline of the actual guide as well, but then the inside as well gives you even more patterns and even more variety. It's a saving of $21.96 or $30.80, £50 or $69. As we've said, also if you want to go for those gloves, $6.99 or $9.95 will certainly come into their own. And as I said, even if you don't use them for what they're supposed to be used for, you can use them for mime, like I was doing a little bit earlier on as well. We are about 15 minutes away or so from bringing you the Builder Block extension kits. These are absolutely brilliant. If you've used the Builder Blocks from Gemini before, you will know how great they are. And actually, the ones that we've got on the show today, I think you're going to absolutely love as well. Lots still to come. Don't forget, you can get those questions in, anything that you want to ask, and also any projects that you want to show us as well. We would love to see your pictures, studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk, anything that you're working on currently. Maybe you've already got some of these quilting guides and you want to show us what you've been doing. We would love to see and share the inspiration with everybody else as well. And if you keep wondering about why I keep mentioning platinum, what's all this about? Well, we have a little club here at Crafters TV, and here's some more information.
Welcome to Club Inspire, our free loyalty club. As a member of the club, you can save up to 20% every time you shop with us. For every £1 you spend, whether it's in one of our stores or on our website, you'll collect 1 loyalty point. The more points you have, the more benefits you'll receive. As a welcome present, we'll give you 20% discount with your very first order. Once you place your first order, you'll be given 250 points straight away, making you a bronze member. This will mean that you'll receive a 5% discount on all of your purchases until the end of the next calendar year, plus priority postage. 500 points takes you up to silver membership, where you'll get 10% discount plus free shipping when you spend over £20. When you get to 750 points, you'll become a gold member, which gets you a whopping 15% discount on every order, and we'll ship them to you completely free, no matter how big or small they are. Spend over £25 and we'll send them to you via our premium next day delivery courier service. When you reach 1500 points, you'll become a platinum member, giving you the same shipping benefits as a gold member, but with the added bonus of a massive 20% discount on all of your purchases. Now on top of that, you'll receive exclusive discounts, sneak peeks of brand new products, special offers and money-saving vouchers. You'll have access to an exclusive secret Facebook group to meet like-minded friends, to find out information first and to be inspired by all the crafty makes. We'll send you a completely free quarterly Digimag direct into your inbox, giving you lots of hints, tips, inspiration, additional offers and some sneaky behind the scenes gossip from the team. So what are you waiting for? Become a member of our club today.
Yes, a brilliant little club, isn't it, really? And no matter where you are always saving as far as our club is concerned. Loving the little messages coming in today. We've been talking about Lizzie's extension table that she had. She said about using books there, if you haven't got one of those, to kind of pad things out a bit. Calessa saying, I made an extension table with packaging foam held together with packing tape, then taped a Teflon ironing sheet to the top. You see, there's always ways and means, isn't there? There's always ways and means around these things. Now, we've got a brilliant little bundle for you here as well to use in conjunction with your rotary cutter. I just think things like this are just so handy to have when you think about accuracy, when you think about saving yourself time when it comes to cutting out all of your shapes. This bundle is absolutely brilliant. It's your 5-piece threaded shape cutter collection with a whole variety of different shapes that you have got the ability to cut. So first of all, you've got your hexagon shape cutter, allowing you to cut 2.5, 4.5, 6.5 and 8.5 inch hexagons and half hexagons as well. So when you see here for yourself, actually, you have got the ability to cut all of these different sizes. And the great thing is, again, I think, you know, for everybody really, because you always want to be accurate, don't you, I suppose, but particularly from, you know, a newbie's point of view, you've got the ability to be able to have accuracy and precision each and every time that you're using these. And when you think of the different sizes that you're able to cut here for making your quilt blocks, it's just absolutely brilliant. Look at the difference in size. So from your 2.5 to your 8.5 inch hexagon, and you've got the half sizes as well. Just absolutely brilliant. So that is your hexagon. Also available within this, remember you get all of these together. You've then got your circle. Once again, this is allowing you to cut with accuracy your 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 inch circle. Take a look at this. Half circles, of course, as well is the brilliant thing with this. It's all about speed. It's all about accuracy, because you know what, from my point of view, as I say, I am very, very new to all of this, very new, but you want to get on to doing the fun stuff, don't you? You don't want to spend loads of time having to measure things. You don't want to have to spend loads of time faffing about. And when you've got tools like these shape cutters here, it gets you onto the fun stuff much quicker. So all of your half circles and then your full circles there as well, as I say, from your 4 inch all the way up to your big 9 inch circle there as well. So that's also included within this 5-piece bundle. You've then got your diamond shape cutter. The great thing here with this as well is you've got your 45 degree and your 60 degree, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5 and 5.5 inch diamonds. That's also available for you. And then we've got your tumbler as well, something that we will see quite a lot on these sort of shows, this tumbler shape. And again, just gives you accuracy, doesn't it? And it just gives you precision and speed each and every time you use it, from your 2.5 up to your 8.5 inch size. And again, just gives you a bit of an idea here of the difference in sizes. So all of these available for you for £75 or $92 or £60 or $73.60 if you want to go for those, if you're a platinum member. Super handy to have. And of course, you know, you've already got your rotary cutter, haven't you? So you are well away with those. Speed, accuracy and precision. And as I said, particularly again, as a newbie, if you're wanting to get that accuracy straight away, because that's going to be something that's going to put you off, isn't it? If you're just starting out and you're finding that, you know, you're not getting the accuracy, it's taking you time to kind of get your shapes to the precision that you want. very quickly I can see you're going to get annoyed, but with a collection like this, it gives you speed, accuracy and precision. Lizzy is with us live from Suffolk. Again, this is a really super handy bundle to have, isn't it, Lizzy?
It's fantastic. It's probably one of my favourite products that Crafts Companion have ever brought out on Softcraft. Because, first of all, you've got all those different sizes. If I pick up one of them, that's the tumbler. No, I'm not going to be able to show you, but I was going to try and find something dark quickly to put behind it. But it's got all those different sizes there. So, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 different sizes. So that does away with you worrying about, you know, plastic templates that you've got to draw around or cut round. You know, you might have some sort of shapes like this that you have to place on your fabric and cut around. And again, unless you've got all the tools, you know, you'd need a rotating mat, you'd need perhaps a smaller rotary cutter. So there's lots of other things that you can do, but why would you when these are going to do the job for you? They're going to cut all those 4 different sizes. Now, on the actual product itself, if I turn this over so we can read it, I know it's upside down, so let's do it that way. You've got a placement line here that's in a bold line right along the bottom there, and that's if you're cutting on the fold, okay? Because you've got the option of cutting on the fold or cutting not on the fold. And this little line here is the line, the dotted line, is where you'd cut if you only want half a tumbler, for instance. So you can actually join 2 halves together because it's giving you a seam allowance. And of course, you've got all these different sizes. So if you've got the starter kit, you've got the 45mm rotary cutter. This is absolutely perfect for it. The only one I would say get a smaller rotary cutter for is the circles. You'd need a 28mm. But other than that, you're good to go. Now, so if I place this on the fold, so I've got a bit of scrap fabric here. I'll fold it up. You can do a couple of layers if you want to. You don't want to waste too much fabric. And that's the other thing about this, that you can move these around so you waste less fabric. And I've tried to move my lights. We've got a bit of glare, but anyway, let me just crack on. So I'm going to pop my solid line along the fold of my fabric. Okay, you can see that beautifully. And I'll cut, I don't know, a 6.5 inch, I'm going to stand up to do this, a 6.5 inch tumbler. So you're going kind of just past that crisscross line, pop your rotary cutter in again, come down the other side, you just pass that line again, keep your fingers out of the way, and then you're cutting. And what you've done is you've cut the perfect tumbler, okay, the perfect tumbler, apart from the fact it needs an iron. Now, if you wanted to, you could swap this fabric over. I've got a selvage going on here, so this time I'm going to cut my selvage off. Normally I'd say keep your selvage on, and you could now cut a half. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to put our dotted line on the cut part of the fabric. Now I can see just from looking at this that that's not square. You know, I talked to you earlier about squaring up. So move your mat around. This is where we move it lengthways, and I'm just going to actually use my cutter as a tool, as another tool. It's giving me a straight line. So I'm going to place my guide on there again. So my fabulous cutter, I'm going to move it along to save fabric, and I'll show you another way of doing this. 6.5 inches again. This time I've got it on the dotted line, not the placement line. And then again, all I'm going to do is bring my rotary cutter up to the cross, put it back in, go down. You can hear there's no pressure in my voice. I'm cutting 1 layer of fabric. You absolutely cannot go wrong. And there is your half tumbler cut. And what you can do now is, assuming, you know, we've got another straight bit going along here, you can flip this over, line it up, and use this part of the fabric to cut that tumbler out. So there is hardly any waste to this whatsoever. But the other thing is, if we've got this half tumbler here, which okay, what do you do with that? Well, let's just get a piece of fabric in. So some of the Enchanted Forest. And let's bring that in. We're going to cut another half tumbler. Again, make sure that your fabric has a nice straight edge to it. If it's not, use the cutter to do that lovely straight line for you. Let's line it up. We're going to go 6.5 inches again. We're going to do a half tumbler, we're just going to cut along up to the cross. And now if you don't know what I'm talking about, as soon as you get these home, you'll see the cross. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Perfect.
So there is our other half tumbler cut. And now straight away, because we've added a seam allowance, we can stitch that, so we can stitch those together and create ourselves a tumbler using 2 different sorts of fabric. And then all you do is when you've cut out several, I'm just looking for the one that I cut. When you've cut out several, they piece together and they're just like squares. And load if I can find that one that I've just cut. It's the disappearing magic trick.
That's
Have you ever tried it?
But again, point is accuracy, and I love the fact as well you pointed out, when you have shape cutters like this, it helps you save on your fabric as well, doesn't it, really? Because you're wasting less, aren't you, I guess?
Exactly. I've got to stand up to do this. Yes, you absolutely are, because if you're really clever and if you think about it, I've done a fold there, and that's created me a whole one again. But actually, you can carry on and you can cut another one here. But this is a section here of fabric that you could cut a single one out, a half one, or you can just cut smaller ones out. So none of this is wasted. So if I was to bring in that shape again, so that half shape, I'll just marry them up so they sit on top of each other perfectly. It's a 1/4 inch seam allowance to stitch those together. You may well have cut a third one, let's say, and you're going to stitch it together like that. And that's how you create strips. So all you're going to do is stitch these together. So you've got a seam allowance there, 1/4 inch. You're going to stitch those together, and then all you're going to do is join it to there. And once you stitch those together, you get a whole long strip. It's just like stitching squares. You make a second row, a third row, a fourth row, and you join them together and you've got your quilt made. But you've got something a little bit more interesting there because you're perhaps using the half tumbler shape, for instance. But all of them can be cut on the fold or can be cut with a raw edge, if you like, because you've got that facility. You've got all the markers there. So you've got 8.5, 6.5, 4.5, 2.5. You've got the little crisscross line here. I don't know if I put my hand behind it, you might be able to see, maybe not. Perhaps if I use a piece of fabric, you can see, maybe not. But anyway, it allows your blade to go further than the shape, which is exactly what you want. But you've got all of those 4 different sizes, and that's the same for all of them. The circle actually has more. If I bring that up, let's have a look at that. It has more. So when we look at the circle, let me take it out of the packaging. You can see that you've got a 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. You've got all of those different sizes on there. Same thing, you've got the placement line where you're going to cut on the fold of your fabric, or you've got the dash line where you cut on the raw edge, so you can do a half circle. And these are great if you've made a piece of patchwork. For instance, you know the piece we did, I keep referring to it, where is it? The log cabin. So let's just bring that in. No, that's the wrong bit. I've now got so much stuff on my desk, it's ridiculous. But you could have made a piece of log cabin, something like this. There's absolutely no reason at all why you can't cut maybe a half circle out of that, a whole circle out of that. Shall we do it?
Well, why not? Yeah, that's what we're here for. If you just want, by the way, if you want to go for the full collection, details on the screen, and also down the bottom of the screen there, details of the Ditsy Dashes, which is what Lizzy was using. Well, you can just see in her hand there a few moments ago. Really popular individually, $5.99 or $7.49. It's part of the Enchanted Forest collection. Which one is that on the log cabin? That's the blooms, isn't it? Forest blooms, I think it's called.
Isn't it pretty?
It's gorgeous. My favourite of the 4 designs within the collection. I love it.
I think that's probably why I picked it up, because I like the sort of little ditzy print of it. And even though on this particular design I haven't alternated the stripes, I've done them all in the same fabric. You can clearly see the definition between each piece, and I think. Although you end up with the same piece of fabric, but cut into, which actually then creates a whole new different design. And teaming it with a plain, which I've done there, it just, again, it creates something really spectacular. And of course, if you've quilted it as going with our pattern guides, you'd see all of those colours. I deliberately chose a thread, I shouldn't have done, but a thread that was variegated, that matched the tones of the flowers. but you could use metallic thread, something like that.
They're just asking in the gallery, and why is it called log cabin? Is it just because it looks like a log cabin, isn't it?
Well, right, traditionally, if we did that centre square red, which is traditional, you know, if you look back along, that would be red. It means that's the heart of the home. The fire is the heart of the home. So because of that, if you think about where this originated from our friends in America, they would have been in a log cabin with a fire being the heart of the home. And that's how that design was created. And there's another colour, which it escapes me at the minute. There's another colour that you can use traditionally at the centre, which means that the people that live there are poorly. They've had a bereavement or something like that. But generally, the centre square is red. So traditionally, that's what you would see. And it builds up around it. It's the log cabin that's the heart of the home.
Well, there we go. I'm glad that I asked that question. There we go. Every day is a school day here at Crafters TV. Right, I can't remember what we're doing now.
Well, I was going to use that circle cutter.
Oh, yes.
Just to show you the potential of this. And now this is something that, you know, you might have put 3 hours into making this block. So it's something that you've really got to be sure about cutting into. The thing that I love to do is making a quilt out of perhaps just basic squares.
Yeah.
Then using a smaller square to create a piece of patchwork and then cutting into it and placing that down as a plique on your squares. I mean, that was a lot of information to take in, but that is the sort of thing that you can do. So with this, now I'm going to go for the bigger one only because I haven't got my 28mm handy. I've only got my big one. I'm looking around desperately, but I can't see it. So I'm going to stand up. I'm going to go for the 9-inch, and I don't want anybody to cry that I'm cutting into my block, okay? Everything is fine.
They're crying in the gallery here. I can hear the whimpers and the snivels in the gallery.
The tears, yeah. Now I'm going through several layers of fabric here. If you think that there's seams in here, there's wadding, you know, you've got your layers of fabric plus, like I say, the seam allowances. So we'll see if we can do it in one pass. I'm kind of putting a bit of pressure on that.
Yeah.
We'll see how we get on. That's not bad. So it just shows you, a little bit off there, but I can forgive myself for that. But it just shows you the capabilities of this and what you can do. So you can create a piece of patchwork and then you cut into it. So can you see the potential there? If I hold that up. Mm-hmm. So what we've done is we've cut through the backing fabric, the wadding, and all of the seams and the fabric on that piece of patchwork. And now it reminds me of Easter with a little chick coming out of the broken egg.
Oh,
that's what it looks like to me.
That's brilliant. Yeah, it is. I can see it now. I never thought of that before. Now that's all I can see.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Egg.
But what you can do now, you see, you could actually bind this all the way around and make it into a pot coaster. You know, if you're going to take a pot out of the oven.
Yeah, yeah.
Because this happens to me all the time, Ben. I'll take something out of the oven, and then it's like, right.
Yeah.
What do I put it on? Well, then, okay, a quick example of making a pot holder, literally, of putting a pot down on. And then you could put like a thermalan fleece in there and protect your work surface. But anyway, it just shows the capabilities of the shape cutter, that it's not all about cutting a plique and cutting you know, patchwork quilt blocks or pieces, I should say. It's all sorts of things you can do with it. I mean, there's just an incredible thing. And like I said, well, the quilting pattern guys are actually my favourite, but this is my second definite favourite. The shape cutters are a must-have in your stash.
Absolutely, and Coletta Cooper on YouTube echoing that, saying, I have these shape cutters. I find the circle cutter especially handy. Yeah, I'm always saying it's always a school day here at Crafters TV. Lorraine on Facebook says, wow, I enjoyed that history lesson on the log cabin. Thank you, Lizzie. Also, must just say hi to Pam on Facebook, who says, hi, Ben and Lizzie, just logging in. I've been finishing some Christmas cards. I'm hoping to make enough by the end of the week so I can start back onto sewing projects, especially the baubles from the Sew Inspired number 14 bought during birthday week. Keep those messages coming in. Lots of you are going for the spray and stay as well. If you want to grab this, brilliant. We're talking obviously about your rulers today. Great for rulers, your templates, your stencils. Just a little bit of a spray helps you kind of get that grip you know, for all of the tools that you are using. Only available in the UK though, for $7.99, and that is on part of a 3 for 2 actually on some of the other goodies that we've got. Check the website for all of the other items that are on 3 for 2. I think it's all of the sprays, isn't it? Because we've got the stay and spray, the stick and spray, but check the website there for full details. As far as the fabric is concerned, lots of you taking advantage of the deals there. The Enchanted Forest proving really, really popular indeed. So these are available on the by the half metre. And as we said, absolutely gorgeous. Launched in September and have been very popular since then. If you want to go for these, $5.99 or $7.49 per half metre. Simply go online and type in how much you want on the website. They are on a 3 for 2 though, so definitely take advantage of this deal. Here's my fave, and I think Lizzie was saying this was her fave as well, the Forest Florals. Absolutely gorgeous fabric. I think I sort of love the sort of cream colour palette, and then all of the beautiful flowers on top helps them to stand out even more. Again, $5.99 or $7.49 on that 3 for 2. Then we've got your mini blossoms. Again, gorgeous. It's nice, isn't it, again, that all of this has been thought out for you, that they all work perfectly as well. So you've almost got, you know, if you were thinking about making bags, you've got your kind of outside and then your inner lining as well, however you want to do it. $5.99 and $7.49 on a 3 for 2. And then your Ditsy Dashes, which I'm told is still the most popular of all of the fabric that we've got on the show so far. Laura, our director today, since she likes it, she says she'd like a dress made out of it. Maybe that's a project for me once I get a little bit better with the old the sewing. So a little bit further down the line, I'll have that dress ready for you in 2025. And that's not 25 past 8, that's 2025, as in 5 years' time. They are on a 3 for 2, as I say, by the half metre, so take advantage of the deals on that. We do obviously have the fat quarter bundles and the strip rolls as well if you want to do that. Now, it is, of course, almost Christmas. Who's looking forward to Christmas? Just me. I certainly am. Very excited about it. And if you are too, and you want to get some Christmas into your life, then you want to go for this next collection. The Gemini Christmas Decoration Collection. 25 elements here. These are the really cool dies, allowing you to cut out all of your fabric designs. So if you are looking for ways to, I don't know, maybe you want to make your own little Christmas jumper this year and have like a little snowflake on it. You can do. Maybe you want to decorate your stocking this year with a little robin. You've got the ability to be able to do that as well. Or maybe you just want to, I don't know, decorate your home with some beautiful, beautiful hearts. You've got the ability to do that as well. And again, this is all about speed. This is all about accuracy and ease of use. So you've got 9 dies there for your heart, 8 in your snowflake and 8 in your little robin as well. Really good deal on this again, £25 or $33. Platinum members, £20 or $26.40 on that collection. I particularly like the little robin. And I think we're going to have a look at these with Lizzie now. In fact, I can just see on the screen below me there, she's got a little stocking to her left-hand side. Again, this is the kind of thing, if you're looking this year to maybe make your own stockings, make stockings for the whole family, then a set like this is certainly something that you want to go for. Have you got the robin on your stocking there as well, can I see? Is the robin there?
I have.
Yeah. How cute.
So I've got it on the stocking here.
Yeah.
So we're talking a definite soft craft, but look at this as well. I don't know, can you see it? It's the robin on a tag. Oh, let's do it this way. Oh yes, exciting. Love technology. So look, we can actually make our cards now as well. So because these are multimedia dies, guys, we can actually do our soft craft of gorgeous hand stitch. Look at that. Isn't that absolutely delicious?
Love it.
And you get the holly dies as well. Or you can go for your card crafting. So you can make the gift and then make a tag to go on the gift. Isn't that gorgeous?
That's such a great idea, right? So as you can see, you use it with a whole host of different materials and for your card making as well. So, you know, right across the board. Yeah, like you said, make the gift, make the card, job done. Absolutely brilliant. Love that collection. Yeah. Are we going to have a look at the heart now as well? Can I see in front of you?
Well, I just wanted to demonstrate. I've gone off piste a little bit here, Ben.
Yep.
So if you never see me again, it's because of this.
All right. Okay?
What
are you going to do? I'm a bit worried now.
I'm just saying, because you told me and you told everybody at home that everybody was loving the stick and the spray and stay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to show you what this does.
Oh, cool.
Because this is absolutely amazing. Now, I told you that our quilting guides have that non-slip technology, but if you're at all worried, use it on the back and front of your guides as well. But I'm going to show you. So if we look down on my desk, I've got some of the hearts, I've got some applique ready to show you that has been die cut with the Christmas dies.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put my ruler down, my regular cutting ruler down on the fabric, right? This is real technical stuff now.
I'm following.
And you can see that my ruler slips around like a good un.
It does.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my spray and stay, give it a little squirt.
Okay.
Not much. Just give it a second or two to grab. Now, you might think that this is wet, and you could say, oh, well, it's because it's wet. But actually, that is now dry, and that spray is now on here for as long as I want it to be on here. I can actually take it off with a soapy water. But if I put that on my fabric now,
yeah. Ah,
okay,
that's brilliant.
It's absolutely stuck rigid. Now, if anybody says to me, well, that's because the ruler is wet, it's not. It's because of the product. It's the product that has made this non-slip. So if you're at all worried, look at this. If you're at all worried about the quilting pattern guys, I'm going to flip this over now, guys.
Yeah.
So this is the shiny side that's going on my fabric.
Oh,
I can't do that now. But with that spray on there, it grabs it. And I'm one finger.
So,
and that has grabbed it.
So it's sort of semi-permanent. So kind of it will stay there for as long as you want it to be there. And when you want to get rid of it, what did you say? Did you just wipe it off or
yeah, I'd take this into my bathroom now and run it under the tap, little bit of hand soap, give it a wipe, give it a polish, and that'll come off. But it'll stay on there for as long as I want it to stay on there. Now, if you're using the mat, the rotary cutter, and this ruler,
yeah.
and you're at all anxious about the slippage, the slippability, you don't need to worry about that. Because if you put it on the right way, that is not going anywhere. And I can get my rotary cutter in here and I can totally, let me get it lined up, because it does stick. So whereas before I could move, if I turn this over, I can move that around and adjust. That absolutely won't do that now. It just won't. So I have to adjust it manually, and then I can cut. And that doesn't slip at all. That has now cut that edge obviously beautifully because I've got a nice sharp blade, but it's the actual fact that this is rigid on there, totally rigid. Yeah. So I know we talked about it and we weren't going to talk about it very much, but it's one of those products that once you've experienced it, you'll actually be a little bit worried when you start to hear that it's nearly empty and you'll get more.
Well, listen, grab it while you can because it is on a 3 for 2, as you saw a few moments ago. The spray and stay, $7.99, only available in the UK. Let's chat a little bit more, though, about these Christmas decorations because we're not long away from it now. I think by my reckoning, about 38 days, something like that, until Christmas. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
It is about 38 days.
Yeah. Are you all ready, Lizzie? Done all your shopping?
Don't be ridiculous. No, it's going to be a last-minute job as always. But I don't know. The situation is a bit tricky for shopping now, anyway, isn't it?
Well, absolutely, yeah. But what about these? What about these decorations? The heart. We've got the beautiful snowflake and the robin there as well. Really, really cool, aren't they?
They really are. And in actual fact, I remember launching these just a couple of months ago, something like that, and I think we were in the depths of summer, like we always do. We launch these things always 6 months before, and it's like you will need these. And now we're kind of up against the wire. So I'm just saying that because these dies are going to perhaps help you not only with your card making and make a few cards with these, but also your crafting as well. So for instance, if you need to make a little Christmas stocking for somebody or one of those little table mats again, anything where you need it to be a little bit more Christmassy, these are absolutely ideal. And of course they are multimedia dies, which means they're going to go through multiple layers of fabric and multiple types of fabric. I'm going to say substrates. That's a good word. but they're deeper than normal dyes. And when you see our dyes, they're kind of like a bronzy colour.
Yeah.
So you'll know that they are. So I've got some gorgeous fabric here. Now look, I haven't gone traditional Christmas, Ben. Why should we? So I'm actually going to be using our set of violet felts. I mean, these are absolutely delicious. Look at the colours.
I know.
Look at the colours.
Not a huge amount of stock of these either. We thought these were out of stock actually, Lizzie, but we've managed to find a few different colours. You've got obviously the violets there. We've also got the raspberry and the sea breeze as well. But absolutely gorgeous and so versatile felt, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And the great thing about felt is that not like fabric where you have to remember what's your right side, what's your wrong side. Oops, that's flashing. Hold on, bear with. Because a metal plate. Yeah, you don't need to worry about right side, wrong side. And it doesn't matter whether you wanted your bird to face to the right or to the left. It doesn't matter with felt because you just turn it over and then you've got the right way for you. So if we cut out a bird, so I'll use all my violet.
Oh, hang on. We're having a few connection issues with Lizzie. Do you know what? It was going all so smoothly, wasn't it? Going all so smoothly. Hey, but listen, we've got 90 minutes in. In fact, hang on a minute. I think we've got Lizzie back. Yes, we have. We just lost you there for a second, Lizzie. You sort of, you were stuck. You were paused. There we go. Got you back. What were you saying?
Okay. Well, what I was saying was that because these are multimedia dyes, they're going to go through more than 2 layers of fabric. Sorry, 1 layer of fabric. So they're going to, with felt, they're going to go through at least 4 layers. But I've got 2, so I'll do the body in that colour, and then we'll do. And because this is where you could become your own artist, you can decide what colours you want to use for where. So again, we'll cut 2 pieces for the body part. So this is like the underbody bit. So we'll cut 2 pieces of that. And obviously when you're doing this at home, guys, you get the children perhaps to cut this for you. And you've got all these little other bits that you can use afterwards. Now we'll forget about the chest. We'll go straight for the wing.
Okay.
Cut the middleman out. And we'll cut 2 of those. So again, now you could fold your felt over. And you could use tape to hold these down, okay? But I'm cutting quite nice chunky bits, so we should be okay. Then you want to lay down. This might flash, guys, so I'm just giving you a warning. This might flash.
Okay.
So felt down, the cutting side facing down. So again, felt, cut side facing down. The wings, again, we're just going to, well, the body, I should say, cut side facing down. Make up your sandwich.
Yep.
And then I'm going to pop it through my Gemini.
So if these have got to go through the Gemini, or could we use our smaller machines with these?
You can definitely use your smaller machine. If you've got the Junior or the MIDI. I haven't tried the MIDI yet.
No.
That would be amazing.
Quite exciting, yeah. Only launched last week.
I don't know how it works with fabric. Can you hear it crunching?
Sounds lovely. I really like that sound.
There we go. So if I take all these bits off and get rid of the metal. So when I cut fabric, guys, I always cut it the same. I have the clear plate, the metal plate, the fabric, the dye facing down, the plastic sheet and the clear plate. And that's always my recipe, okay?
Yeah.
Now, I never change it. It's always been done like that. So I've missed out a couple of bits just for speed. So all I've done is cut out a couple of bodies, a couple of underbellies and a couple of wings. Now, I've got a Christmas stocking here, a pretend Christmas stocking. So we could, if I move it so you can just about see it. So because I've got 2 pieces, you know, I've got a right and a left. So there's my 2 dicky birds. And they could, because it's felt, we can do beak to beak.
Yep.
So that could be for a wedding card or something that you've made for somebody's wedding. But we'll just pop him on there. We'll just pop
I thought you were
him
going to
in the
say
middle.
turn him the other way around for, you know, I don't know, like if it's a divorce or something like that, maybe.
Oh, what do you mean, like that?
Yeah, I thought that's what you were going to say. Yeah, when they're having a bit of an argument, you know, a bit of a set two. Yeah.
I like that very much, Ben. That suits my sense of humour. So we might pop our little bird there. And then we've got his undercarriage.
Yep.
So that goes, just peel those apart. They're all cut beautifully. And then so you're going to pop that on there like that. So again, we've cut 2, so we've got another one that we can put on. And then we've got the wings. Now what you could do, because we've cut 2 wings, you could, I've got to think which way they go now. You could put one wing underneath, and you could put the other wing on the top.
Love it.
So you see what I mean? You've got scope to do all sorts of different things with it. So I think I quite like it just like that.
Yeah, I do.
So although it's a robin, I've just made a dove or a pigeon.
Yeah, either or. I mean, you can make whatever bird you want. Do you know what this reminds me of? Fuzzy felt. I used to love fuzzy felt as a kid. Do you remember playing with that?
Well, of course, that's all it is, isn't it? It's felt.
Yeah.
And of course, that's what you can do with the kids, with the grandchildren, if you're lucky to be able to see them, or your own. Yeah, that's what you can do. You can cut all these shapes out, because really, or you see, this is where my imagination goes off somewhere, because although that is a wing, could also be a cloud as well.
Absolutely.
So you could have these as clouds with the bird flying around, and you could start making flowers out of all the other bits, because that could be one of your petals. And then you could turn the felt, because the felt is reversible. You could perhaps create a beautiful flower. You could do it that way, or you could do it that way. So although you've got birds, you've got Christmas in a can here, which is absolutely amazing. But you know what? These are all year round, because these little projects you can do with the kids and create something absolutely gorgeous. Look at that.
Yeah, absolutely right. And do you know what? Like you said, with Christmas stockings, that is a great idea. You know, this year, make your own stockings, personalise your own stockings. And also, you know, talking about home decor, take a look at this. You know, if you want to be able to sort of Christmas up your house this year as well, what about, you know, cushion covers, sort of using it as applique for loads of different ideas. I love that.
Totally. And of course you're going to get these holly leaves and berries as well, so you can create those and make, I mean, it's just beautiful. And if you're not sure what to use the stick and stay, because that's your permanent glue in a can, so you could use that. Use an old lid or something to pop the pieces in, and then give them all a good spray. But these are the sort of projects that you can sit and do at night and hand stitch these. I mean, you know, I'd bung them under the machine, a machine embroidery with my white gloves, of course.
Yes.
But you could sit and hand stitch. You know, the stocking that we saw before, this one, that's all been hand stitched. Every single bit of that somebody has sat down and actually hand stitched that, and it's absolutely beautiful. And I don't know if you can see. Can you see the blue runner behind me, or shall I move it?
If you could bring it in.
Yeah.
We just see the corner of it at the minute.
Let me just move my turtle that's holding it.
You what?
My turtle is holding it.
Of course.
Yeah. So this is a table runner that's been made using the snowflake design.
Love it.
And how easy is that? So we've just had, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of fabric. Can you see right to the end and right to the end, with those snowflakes all cut out? And don't forget, you've got stencils in these as well. So you can actually stencil through with your fabric inks and make them permanent. I mean, they're beautiful stencils inside. And then you can create these beautiful sort of pieces that, again, Ben, we're talking heirlooms. We're talking something that you're going to put away and get out year after year. And then, of course, you're going to hand these down to your children, and they'll hand it down to theirs.
And this is what it's all about. Loads of you loving this collection, by the way. Eleanor saying, I've gotten these for my daughter. She loves them. She can't wait to use them. And just a quick question here from our Bernie, who says, hi, Ben and Lizzie. I have a question for Ben. Did you bring your machine today as I'm in tomorrow morning? I did, Bernie, because I want to get on using, so yes, I did bring my machine. Now, listen, if you want to go for this collection, grab it. So as we've seen, the fact that you can use these dies in conjunction with your Gemini, with your Junior, of course, as well. And like Lizzie was talking about, you know, obviously on Soft to Save, we're always thinking about soft crafts, but these are multimedia dies as well. So love the idea of being able to use these, you know, to create something like, I don't know, a cushion cover or a table runner, as we've seen, or a stocking, but then you've got the ability to use these with your cardstock as well to have the complimentary card or the tag, whatever it might be. You've got your beautiful heart there. You've then also got the snowflake. So this was the snowflake that you just saw on the table runner that Lizzie was showing you just a few moments ago. That one's got 8 different dies in there, and here's me fave, come on. And the great thing is, Of course, yes, this is a robin, you know, depending on what sort of colours you used, depending on what sort of fabric you use. But as Lizzie was pointing out, you've got the different shapes in here. So kind of the world's your oyster, really. This could be whatever bird you wanted it to be. But then also, you know, all the different shapes can make up lots of different things as well. So you're not just limited to a robin, a snowflake and a heart. There's so much more. £25 is a great buy. $33, you're saving $13.97 or $17.85. And as we said again, if you are looking to kind of pass on your expertise in the world of soft crafts, things like this are going to get the kids involved because they're nice and easy to let the kids, you know, do a bit, help the kids, you know, get them involved as well. Now, under here, I just want to show you the felt that we've got as well, because this is gorgeous. Now, as I was saying to you a few moments ago, we don't have a huge amount of this. I think it's one of those things that we thought had gone, but we did find a little bit more in the warehouse. So this is the Raspberry 6-piece collection. So you get these 6 beautiful colours. 40% of the stock which we managed to find has gone. So if you want to get this, go swiftly. You're going to get those 6 sheets there, 6 sheets of felt for $5.99 or $8.49. Then we've got the violet. This is what Lizzie was using just a few moments ago there. So just to show you the 6 different colours that you're going to be receiving here. Once again, not I like that colour. Not a huge amount of stock here. So if you want to grab it, get it whilst you can. $5.99 or $8.49 for the 6 sheets of felt that you've got there. And then last but by no means least, again, the Sea Breeze. Not a huge amount of stock here either, but lovely colours. Once again, in fact, 30% of your Sea Breeze has already gone. $5.99 or lovely, £8, $8.49, I should say. 6 sheets there, $5.99, $8.49. As I said, didn't realise we had this still, so the stock levels aren't particularly high on that. So if you want to make sure that you get yours, get it whilst you can. Right, very exciting as well, because we have got the Builder Block expansion packs. Now we'll chat more to Lizzie about these, but the point is, if you again are looking for ease of use, if you're looking for being able to create quickly and thriftily, these Builder Blocks are absolutely brilliant. Now, these are the expansion packs. As I understand it, and we'll double check with Lizzie, if you haven't already got your Builder Blocks, these are standalone as well, but we will go through all of that with Lizzie in just a few moments' time. So, this is your square Builder Block. In here, again, let me get my glasses on because I need to read this. You've got your 1.5 inch, 2 inch, 2.5 inch, 3.5 inch and 4.5 inch square. That is included. You've also got your half square triangles in here. Again, same measurements as far as the inches are concerned. 1.5, 2.5, 2, 3.5 and 4.5 inch half squares, and then you half triangles, I should say. Then you've got your quarter triangles as well, in 1.5 up to 4.5 inch quarter squares. 74. Oh, there's more, isn't there? No, there isn't. That is it. 74.97 or 109.85 on those. If you're a platinum member, 59.98 or 87.88. So these are the expansion packs, as we're calling them, Lizzie. But I think I'm right in saying, I mean, you can obviously use these as is, but if you've already got the Builder Blocks, it helps that go even further, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the idea behind this was that those that had the Builder Block were asking for a second set of dies so they could multi-cut. Even though one die cut 6 to 8 layers, well, they were wanting more because they wanted to get all the cutting out of the way and start the stitching, basically. So the thought process was, well, we could do an expansion pack. So the expansion pack is exactly the same as the Builder Block, less the biggest die, okay? So it doesn't have that really big die in there.
Yeah.
So that's the only difference. You still got the most amazing amount of dies in here, with the possibilities of making thousands of different designs. Just these 3 little boxes, these dear sweet little boxes, can create thousands and thousands of different quilt designs, which is quite incredible. They're still exactly the same. They're multimedia cuts, so you're going to cut through your 6 to 8 layers. So quick cutting is the key here.
Yeah.
You've got the accuracy. I mean, Builder Block is something I am utterly passionate about, okay? It's something that has changed the way people do patchwork. If you're somebody watching now, and welcome, and you really, really, really want to do patchwork, get these, because this is going to cut out all of that. You know, we're talking about rulers and rotary mats, rotary cutters and mats and all those sort of things. It kind of cuts out all that stress of having to cut round a template and having to turn and twist and getting the accuracy, because it's the accuracy that makes the difference. Now, these little 3 sweet little boxes, they ought to be the size of a house, because that's the possibility that you're getting, okay? Now, this little quilt here, I just happen to have this to hand. That's been made using the builder block, but also it could easily be made using the expansion pack.
Yes.
They're exactly the same dies. So although the original idea was to create an add-on for those people that are very loyal, that have bought the builder block, you know what, in my world, this is a standalone without a shadow of a doubt. You don't need to have that extra big die. There is in the builder block the cutting guide, if you like, the patterns that you can choose and sort of flick through, and you get the menus and all, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But all you've got to do is cut some shapes out and see what you think and see how they go together. If you've got some scrap fabric, if you've got some old, maybe some old sheets that you're going to recycle, get your expansion pack out, get your fabric, whatever it is, and start cutting and start laying it out and see what you think.
And I just wanted to jump in very quickly, because I was right with my thoughts a few moments ago that you're not just getting those 3 builder blocks, you're also going to get your mitre tool as well, which I know our Bernie was very excited about. I think it was last week or maybe the week before, actually, that we had this. It was one of those very handy tools, apparently, that flew out the door the first time that we had it, and we couldn't get it back in stock for ages, but now it is back, and lots of you have been wanting to get your hands on this. So this is included with the bundle, with your builder block expansion packs as well. So $74.97 or $109.85 gets you, let's just recap on that, gets you your squares. It also gets you your 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch triangles, and you're then going to get that mitre tool as well. So there you go, even better value for money at $74.97 or $109.85. Sorry to interrupt your flow there, so we can carry on talking about the builder box, but also must talk about this mitre tool as well, because Bernie was a big fan of this.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I've hidden my samples, because I have got samples that I made here at home ready to show on TV and around the world, to show how fabulous this tool is. Because when it first came out, it was one of those tools I thought, really?
Yeah.
You know, what am I going to do with that? Yeah. It was only when I used it I realised the potential of it, because I'm going to show you what I created that day that I got the mitre tool. So I started to play with it, and the potential is enormous. So you've got I'll show you this side. So you've got an innie and an outie. So you've got a 90-degree innie and an outie. Okay, so that's the potential there. You've got an innie and an outie, and I clip these together so I don't lose them. You've also got an innie and an outie for a 45-degree angle. So there's your outie, there's your innie, and that's all done with that tool. Then you've got the 135-degree angle, which might suit very well a hexagon quilt. So there's your innie, which I haven't stitched down, let's show it the right way, and the outie there. So that, again, that's another set, another pair. Then you've got the 120-degree angles, and again, you've got the innie and the outie. So again, that little tool does that. And lastly, it does the 60-degree. Again, you've got the innie there and the outie and the outer there. So again, that little tool is a bit like the expansion pack. That little tool ought to be the size of a double-decker bus, because the amount of work that tool can do, you've just seen it. And that's exactly what I did. And I just went on. And when you start looking through my samples, it actually does. If you want your backing fabric to become your border, then it'll allow you to do that as well. So this fabric here is actually my backing fabric, and it's just been brought through and created a border, and it tells you how to do that. But then when you start using different colors, you can see the potential. These are my samples, guys. This is why you've only got bits, but you can see how beautiful that mitre tool is. There are videos available online to show you how that works. Nothing is left to chance. Everything is there for you, and the potential is massive. And what it does do is make the most amazing mitered corner.
Yeah.
So where you think, oh, I'm not sure if I need that, oh my gosh, you absolutely do, because it creates the most wonderful, wonderful finish to all of your quilts. And that packs a punch. That little mitre tool there is what packs a punch. With that and the expansion pack, you're not gonna have any. In fact, Christmas has been put on hold because you guys are going to be quilting and making, binding and stitching for the next 6 months with this little collection here. It's amazing.
It really is, and again, it doesn't look all impressive, does it? But when you've seen like Lizzy's little bundle there, and you've seen the kind of things that you can do with this, it's such a great tool to have. And again, if you're a little bit confuzzled by everything, it does have a step-by-step online kind of video tutorial with this as well. So the fact that you are getting that with the 3 builder blocks as well makes this a super, super buy. And again, like Lizzy says, you will be quilting to your heart's content, probably through Christmas and beyond. $74.97 or $109.85 if you would like to grab this bundle. I can't believe, I've just had a quick glance down at the time for the first time. We've got 10 minutes remaining, and I know that Lizzy has got a little demo that she wants to show us with the builder block. So let's cross back live to Suffolk. What are you going to be showing us, Lizzy?
Okay, so like I said to you before, this little set of 3 should be the size of our house, because that's the capabilities of it. It's massive. And I just want to show you very, very quickly how some of all these tools now start to come together. Because I've got my mat, which I've got going portrait rather than landscape, so it gives me a much, much deeper cut here. I've got my piece of fabric here. Now, this is my selvage. Now, I said to you before, don't ever cut your selvage off unless you really have to, because this shows you your straight of grain, okay? And I've got my rotary cutter and I've got my ruler, but I don't think I'll use the ruler for the moment. Now, this is my die. So it's a half square triangle. It's probably a 3.5 inch. I haven't actually measured it. I've just picked one of them out of there just to show you. Yeah. And you need to, ideally, if we're living in the proper world of quilting, we're going to cut this on the straight of the grain. So we know that the straight of the grain should go through the half square triangle that way. Well, if we've kept our selvage on, we know that if we put our die on there, we know that's now on the straight of grain. And to actually cut this, I'm going to just stand up for a second, guys. To cut this, all I'm going to do is get my ruler, my rotary cutter, and just cut straight across my fabric there, okay? Now that has created a piece of fabric that I know is absolutely perfect, but I've got a bit of wastage going on here. So to avoid that, I'm turning my fabric around and I'm lining this up. Bear in mind that my selvage is going across here, okay? Yeah. And I could, just to save any confusion, cut that off. Okay, I'm doing that freehand. Now we've got a nice little piece of fabric that I can work to. So cut into it and cut across. There's your first bit ready for your die cutting machine. Then you're going to lift this up, you're going to swivel it around, you're going to cut again. Like that, and that's the second piece, and that corner, bear with, goes into that corner like that. I'm going to open this piece up. It could have been longer, but that's the scrappy bit that I had, and I'm now going to just cut into that and cut across, and that gives me 5 layers of fabric to then go through the machine, all cut on the straight of grain, all ready to go through. And if I was to put this into my Gemini, I know 5 layers of fabric, it's like you're having a laugh, because I know that this is going to cut 8 layers, but that I just decided that this is enough for me. You don't have to cut 6 to 8 layers. You can cut 4 layers, 3 layers. You can just cut 1. I mean, I wouldn't bother. I'd cut a load. Get all your scrap fabric out and start cutting. If you think about the size of the smallest little half square triangle in there, you could cut all of those pieces out of scrap and make yourself a little mini little 5.5 inch block that you could then piece together. Yeah. Now, because this is 5 layers, it's like, oh, hello, it's just like cutting through butter. So let's just pop those to one side, get those out of the glare. And there we are. We've got 5 beautifully cut half square triangles that you can start creating something gorgeous with. And of course, if you've got different colours, you can start making things like a pinwheel, or you could make something that's your colour scheme. It could be something that you've got in your house that you want the colours of, then you can start repeating it. But you've got the potential there to make something absolutely glorious. I mean, that was all of, what, 3 minutes?
Yeah.
And we've already got part way through a block. But I can assure you, I've made a full size double bed quilt. I've cut it in a morning.
Wow. And this is the thing again, isn't it? It's about the accuracy, but it's also about the speed. Because normally when you think speed, you then think you're having to throw the accuracy out of the window. But this is both of them together, isn't it?
Without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, don't even put those two words in the same conversation when you're talking about Builder Block or the expansion packs. Same thing. Because you're getting the speed, but you're getting 100% accuracy. You're also got that the inspiration of what you cut, and you're becoming the designer then. So when you think of all those different shapes that you cut, the different sizes that you can cut, I mean, with these half square triangles, you could cut the square that matches with that. So creating the quilt that I just showed you, because that's just squares and half square triangles. That's the sort of thing that you can create. And of course, you can create them in 5 different sizes. So you could create a little lap quilt like that. You could make a matching cushion with 1 block, and then you could make a little coaster for your cup of tea and biscuit in the really tiny size half square triangle. So there's lots of potential with that. This is small but mighty, as they say.
Absolutely, that is so true. Mini but mighty. Remember again with that, just want to recap on everything that you get here, because if you're watching at the start, you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, what do I exactly get? So you are going to get your quarter square triangles in the Builder Block. So 5 different sizes available in there. So the 1.5 up to your 4.5 inch quarter square triangle. You've then also got in there your 1.5 inch square up to 4.5 inch square. And then also, of course, you've got within this your half square triangles too. Really cool set, as you've seen. How quick was that? Just that demo then, when we saw the cuts very quickly, no problem at all. Accuracy, speed, done. And don't forget, you're also going to get your mitre tool in there as well. Certainly one of Bernie's favourite tools, and I think, listening to Lizzie, one of her favourites as well. So $74.97 or $109.85 for that collection. That is such a great buy. Now, if you like to do your embroidery, we've got a little collection for you as well. I say little, it's quite a big collection actually. It's a 20% saving on this one. So the Threaders Embroidery Toolkit is going to get you this hoop set. So you've got a 13cm embroidery hoop, your 18cm hoop, and then your 25cm embroidery hoop as well. You get these really lovely embroidery scissors as well, which are gorgeous. I love those. And then you're also going to want some cotton, of course, as well. You've got your embroidery cotton included as well, your stranded cotton in the vintage collection colours there. So 6 different colours, absolutely gorgeous. £20 or $28, a 20% saving on that. We have literally got about 4.5 minutes remaining. So can we have a quick look at these, Lizzie?
So first of all, what you've got to understand that each one of these embroidery hoops has a really nice grippy screw here that you can unscrew it to put your fabric in, okay? So the idea of these is that not only can you do hand embroidery with these, but machine embroidery as well. So I'm going to show you how to set up both. So if you're doing hand embroidery, you put the solid hoop down, you put your fabric over the top, and you put the hoop with the screw over the top of that, okay? And that gives you the basis of hand embroidery. You tighten that up, you get it so it's drum tight, and off you go.
Yeah.
Cut around here, circle, gather it up, and that gives you then that fabulous, lovely sort of clock face look for your embroidery. But if you're doing machine embroidery, which is something completely different, again, lay your fabric down. This time you want the screw part of your embroidery hoop to be underneath, fabric over the top, and this kind of goes against the grain, and then you put the solid hoop on top. Now that gives you, can you see, it gives you an innie,
yes,
rather than an outie.
An outie.
which means that when this is on the bed of the machine, and you're going to stabilize that, okay, you don't ever machine with just fabric, stabilize it with some interfacing, anything will do. And then that piece of fabric sits on the base of your machine, and it allows you to do free motion embroidery. It's very, very secure in a hoop. With a hoop also, you've got that to hold on to as you're doing your free motion. But the great thing about this set is that you're getting 3. So you're getting 3 different opportunities to use this in different ways. So 1 for hand embroidery, or 2, just pop it under your machine and do some free motion embroidery, which is my thing. But look at that. It gives you the perfect look. And you know, we did some work on embroidery a little while ago in a workshop that I did with an applique and embroidery on the machine. And then they bought clock faces and they actually turned it into a clock, and they have it hanging in the wall in their craft room.
Oh, I love that.
So this has this little set of 3. Again, it kind of packs a punch because there's a massive amount of work you can do with that. And that really big one is absolutely perfect for machine embroidery. So there's 2 different ways to actually hoop up your work, as they say.
Thank you so much, Lizzy. And that's it, isn't it? Again, you have got the full collection there, the 3 hoops. You've got those really cute scissors as well. And you've got your cotton included too on that. So if you want to grab those, £20 today, easy deal on that. Lizzy, I'm going to wrap up over here, but we are done. So thank you so much. Lovely to have you with us, and some great hints and tips. I'm just sad the dog didn't come back in again like it did at the start.
No, we teased her out with cheese and onion crisps.
Brilliant. Well, it's been so lovely to have you with us back on Crafters TV. Do you know when you're back with us again?
On Crafters TV, I believe I think the 6th of December.
All right. Well, we shall very much.
8th.
Oh, the 8th.
The 8th of December.
Well, we'll look forward to that. And you take care. And thank you so much, Lizzy.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks,
Bye-bye, love.
bye. There we go. Absolutely brilliant. I hope you enjoyed all the hints and tips and demonstrations there with Lizzy. We have almost got to say goodbye, but just before we do, just want to quickly recap on these, which are hugely popular. I'm not surprised. We looked at these with Lizzy just a few moments ago. The Gemini Christmas Decoration Collection, 25 elements here. So these are your multimedia dies once again. So obviously we're concentrating on soft crafts as it's the softer side, but as Lizzy was showing us, you know what, you can use these on so much more. Love this robin. Absolutely beautiful. So you've got all of the pieces that you're seeing here to build up your robin, or whatever bird that you want it to be, as we've talked about here. 8 dies included in there. You've then got your heart as well, your joyful heart. That's included. There are 9 dies in total there, and then your beautiful sweet snowflake as well. Great saving on that today, £25 or $33. Use your Platinum Club membership and it comes down even lower for you as well. Don't forget to check out your baskets then. That is just about it for Softer Side. If you do want to join us later on, which I hope you do, then later on we have got launch party. It is me and Fiona with the Nature's Woodland, isn't it? Yeah, with the beautiful animals and so much more. We've got the layerable cuttables coming up on the show later on as well. The 3D Borders craft kit and more. It is going to be brilliant. So hopefully you can join us in around about 1 hour's time. So go and get yourself a cup of tea. Go and get yourself a bit of lunch maybe. That's what I'm going to go and do. And we'll see you back here on Crafters TV in an hour from now.